We arrived in Roatan, weary from 15 hours of red-eye flights and layovers, but eager for the real adventure to begin. The first thing that struck us was the heat and humidity. We made our way outside where Tom, the director of dwellings, picked us up in his little Kia truck that would be our source of transportation for the week. After settling in at the Sea Great Plantation Resort, Tom took us to meet the family we'd be building for. We crossed from the north side to the south side of the island, then wound our way along the coast before turning down a little road which wove its way up into the hills that were dotted with little homes. At the road's end, we disembarked the truck, crossed a stream, and then walked up a dirt trail to Victoria's property. The platform for her new house, built on 9 wooden pilings, had been carefully prepared before our arrival. This was our build site. We would begin on Monday morning. On Sunday, Tom took us to see some of the builds that had already taken place, including the Maltby team from the week before. We were beginning to get a sense of what was in store for us. Monday, our normal routine began. Tom picked us up at 7, then we headed to breakfast at Consuela's little shop. Fresh-made tortillas and fresh fruit were always on the menu. Then off to the job site a quarter mile away. We worked until noon. Victoria or one of her daughters fixed us lunch, and we ate on the build site with plenty of dogs, cats, and chickens to keep us company. Then we worked until the sun started setting around 5. The goal for the first day was to get at least 3 exterior walls up. First, we framed the walls. Then, we nailed siding to them. Pete and Zena cut the boards, while others nailed the walls together. Then all of us joined together to raise a wall into place. We ended up working quite efficiently, and by the end of the day, all 4 exterior walls were in place. Yes! We headed for home, exhausted, but satisfied. The next day, the goal was to get the rafters up so that the roof could go on, just in case it rained. Fortunately, it never rained. The other project was to put up the interior walls. Now Connie, Sarah, and Kelly could really get into nailing since the nails were smaller. Their project was to put up the tongue and groove siding for interior walls. They did an awesome job. Todd and Brendan were swinging from the rafters most of the day, very Pentecostal of them. By the end of the day, everything was set for the roofers and the window guy to complete their tasks on Wednesday. It had been another long day, but this time we got back to the resort in time to do a little swimming just as the sun was setting. Beautiful. That night, God kept Tom awake with the thought of us finishing off the downstairs rather than just leaving it open and letting the family eventually do it later. Victoria's daughter-in-law, Maria, lived in a little shack barely bigger than her bed with her husband and daughter, Anna Victoria. Was it possible that we could work harder and actually complete a house for them on the bottom floor? The team eagerly agreed, and the wood was ordered. Maria was super excited, and the kids of the neighborhood eagerly helped carry the wood to the work site. That day, we finished off the railings for the porch and stairs, put in shelves and beds in Victoria's house. The next day would be a full one. It began early with one group getting trim boards and finishing touches on the upstairs house, the other group putting up the stud walls down below. Then everybody worked together to finish off the exterior sheeting boards on the bottom house, measuring it out carefully down to the last board. By sunset, we'd done it. Hallelujah! Friday was the dedication of both houses. Friends and neighbors gathered as Victoria and Maria gave testimony to God's goodness. What an amazing feeling it was to hand over the keys to their new homes and to dedicate them to the Lord's service. Our prayer is that all who enter those homes will hear the good news about how God provided for them. Much laughter, many tears, and countless hugs were shared on that afternoon. As the sun was setting, we made our way out to the truck, our hearts filled with joy at the project we'd been able to participate in. We were ready to head back to our little resort and enjoy a final meal. But Tom had locked his keys in the truck. One last little hiccup to remind us that even when we make mistakes, God knows the big picture, and He takes our humble offerings and makes something amazing.